Good afternoon, folks. Chi Baker here from Portland, Oregon with Street Tactical Integrations. I run a martial arts school here. We focus on self-protection, fitness, and healing. And what I want to do is shoot a video for you on how to use hand wraps. And a couple big reasons on why you'd use hand wraps. The first one is if you are wearing a glove, so a boxing glove, it's going to add more padding and more stability to that glove. The other thing is if you are not wearing a glove, you should have something typically to cover your knuckles so you don't skin your knuckles using a heavy bag. I'm going to show you two different methods. One is open palm and the other one is a closed palm. The open palm is good if you are wearing boxing gloves. The closed palm is a little bit more stable and secures the wrist better, and so there's less movement with the hand, and it tends to not come unwrapped as much. There are pros and cons to it. There's many methods out there, and I'm not saying that these ones are the best. I'm shooting this mainly because some of my students want to use a thumb wrap. There's methods where you wrap your hands and don't use a thumb wrap. Again, I encourage you to try out a bunch, wrap them up, see how they feel, put on your boxing gloves, punch for good 5-10 minutes, take your gloves off, punch with them without your gloves on, see how they go, and kind of sample them out. There's a lot of different methods, and these are just ones that I think work well if you're using your thumb loop. Overall, I think the thumb loop actually helps keep it wrapped up better, but everyone's got their own thing. Okay, so if we're using the thumb loop, you want to make sure your seams, okay, there's the inner seams. You want to make sure that the seams are on the outside, okay, or inside, or however you describe it, but that the smooth side is on the outside. And you take it around your thumb, and it's gonna go to the back of your hand. So we're gonna do 3 wraps with our wrist, okay? We got one, the first one you want close to your hand, that wrist joint. The next one you're gonna move down a little bit down the arm, okay? And the third one you're gonna go close again to your hand, that wrist joint. And you're gonna have to sample out the snugness. If it's too snug, it's gonna cut off the circulation, and if it's not snug enough, it falls apart. So you'll just have to sample that out. Okay, now what we've done after we've done 3 is we're going to come over and we're gonna wrap our thumb, okay? And not everybody wants to wrap their thumb. If you do, that's great. If you don't, just leave this step out, okay? So you're gonna come up here and you're gonna do 1 full wrap with your thumb, okay? And this one you definitely want a little bit snug because it will become loose. So make sure that it feels kind of snug around there. Those of you who are really concerned about your thumb, you can wrap 1 more time. Essentially, the more wraps you do in one area, the less padding and wraps you get to do in the other area. So you kind of get to figure that out. Okay, now we're gonna come up and start to move towards these knuckles. So come up and we're gonna do 2 full wraps. 1, 2. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on the knuckle pad, okay? So you're gonna fold it over, okay? And we're gonna do 2 full ones, and you're gonna kind of use your thumb to pinch it off so it doesn't fall off. And again, you're gonna get used to this. You trying to do this on camera is a little funky, but so you've got 1, and then you're gonna fold it over again. Okay, and you're gonna kind of use your thumb to kind of hold on to it, fold it over again. And the key here is that you want these pads to be right in the middle of where those knuckles are, okay? So the middle of the pad, right in the middle of the knuckles. So you want to kind of find that space there, okay? And you want this as neat and tight as possible. The more neat it is, the more the padding's where you want it to, and the tighter it's gonna be so it falls out, doesn't fall out, okay? Now what we do is we need to end up going in the same direction that we were going before. So it's gonna fold over one more time, okay? And I'm using that thumb there to hold it. Let me get over, right? That's one full wrap, and now here's the second one, the second full wrap. Okay, so there's 2 wraps. Again, I'm trying to make it as neat and tight as possible. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to work on our fingers. Neaten this up a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna try to make it as neat as possible just for the film here, but filming and trying to do things is not always as easy as you think. Okay, so now we're gonna start to work and wrap our fingers, okay? So I'm gonna come down a little bit low. Again, this is the open palm one, okay? So I'm gonna bring it down a little bit closer to here, and I'm gonna start with between the pinky and my ring finger. Goes around, and then so I'm gonna open up my fingers here. I'm gonna kind of fold it in half, get it nice and snug in there. Again, I have my fingers open like that. Okay, now what I wanna do is close my fist. And again, I wanna make this as neat as possible. So I'm gonna kind of neaten it up. And now with my kind of hand clenched a little bit, right? I'm gonna do one full wrap. So I went through the finger, then I'm gonna go one full wrap here to lock it in. Okay. Then I go to the next finger. So I'm gonna go between my ring finger and my middle finger. Okay. And I'm gonna, again, kind of pinch the middle here. Right. And then as I start to bring it around here, close my fist, wrap it over. Okay, the last one again is going to be between my pointer finger and my middle finger. I'm gonna pinch it off in the middle, open my fingers, and then as I start to wrap around, I'm gonna close. Try to make it neat again. All right. Close my fist. Now I'm gonna kind of try to neaten this up. So I'm gonna do one more over there. And then again, you can see all these folds here. I'm gonna do one over there to kind of help lock those in. Okay. Now I'm gonna start to go down to my wrist. So depending on what you wanna do, you can do 2 or 3 here. I'm gonna bring this down to my wrist. Once, twice, and you want your Velcro to end up kind of as close to here as possible, and that's just going to help add extra stability. There you go. Okay, so you'll notice that I've got a pretty good knuckle pad there, right? And it's open palm. So now here's the trick of the open palm, is you take this and you start to kind of fold it under, kind of bunch it, and kind of squeeze this in. Okay, what that does, it kind of gives some thickness here, so you can kind of wrap your knuckles into it. And some people like that. Some people, it kind of gives them a little extra, they can kind of fold their knuckles in, right? And so there you go. That's open palm. Okay, and this is good, you know, but again, because it's open palm, my wrist is a little bit looser. So if I've got a boxing glove on, that's gonna help secure this in more. Also, some people actually put athletic tape over this here to secure it down even more, and that's gonna help give some stability with your wrist. It gets costly if you're using athletic tape. Most people are using these because they don't want to add more cost to things. So that's the open palm one, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the closed palm one. Okay, and this seems a little bit silly, but it's helpful actually if you, when you're doing this, I find it helpful, is to make it into a roll. So you basically have to undo your Velcro and then roll it the opposite way. That's a step that maybe some of you don't want to do. It's up to you. Okay, now we're gonna, this is almost exactly the same, except we're gonna wrap lower on our hands for our fingers. Okay, so again, I start with the loop around my thumb and the back of my hand, okay? And I'm gonna do 3 times, just like before. Once, so up around close to the hand, then lower down on the arm, and back up closer to the hand and the wrist joint, okay? We'll do the same thing just for consistency purposes of wrapping the thumb. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap around the thumb. Again, I want that pretty snug. I found that if you wrap your thumb, if you don't make it snug, it's gonna start to come really loose. So you kind of want to cinch that down, pull to make that really tight around this part here, because that will get loose. Okay, again, similar stuff. We're going to wrap around the knuckles once, twice. Now we're going to start to work on our knuckle pad, same thing as before. So I'm going to do that fold. Fold one, hold it with thumb. I try not to rush this so it doesn't look sloppy, but oh, there goes my roll. 2, okay. So I've got 2 knuckle pads. Again, I'm holding it with my thumb. Okay, so I want to, so reverse it again. So we're going back the direction we originally were going. Otherwise, what happens is that the Velcro comes out wrong. Okay, so back over. So we've got 1 full rotation. Do another, and again, I want to make this nice and snug, so I might make a fist here. There's 2. Okay. Now I'm gonna bring it a little bit lower and kind of, again, neaten up these loops here. Okay. Now here's where we change. Instead of going over the hand, we're gonna bring it back down to the wrist. Okay. So bring it down to the wrist here. And then same thing as you're gonna do your pinky first. You wanna make that nice little crease. All right, and then tighten it in, okay? And then you're gonna do a loop, okay? So we're going over the hand, and then we go back down to the wrist. Now we're gonna go to between the ring finger and the middle finger. And then we do a full wrap around the hand, the upper part of the hand. Okay, and then we bring it, so we go around, here. Okay, so we bring it back down to the wrist. Now we're gonna go around the last finger between the middle finger and the pointer finger. Again, make that crease. Make a fist. Okay, and go once, and then bring it down a little bit. Now I'm gonna go around my wrist. Sorry, got off camera a little bit there. Okay, so you notice I still have a knuckle pad. Okay, I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, My knuckle pad, I still have one, but it's not as thick, okay? But what I have is more stability in my wrist. So this feels more stable, okay? And particularly if I'm punching the punching bag, this is gonna kind of sound weird and ironic, but if I'm using the punching bag and I don't have the glove on, is that this is gonna give me more stability here for my wrist. I've got a little less padding in my knuckles. To be honest, if you're a boxer, you shouldn't be worried about bruising your knuckles. But this, to me, this gives enough knuckle padding when I'm hitting the bag, right? That it feels fine, and it's not gonna skin my knuckles, and it's not gonna fall apart on me. So this method I like better, particularly if I'm gonna be taking my gloves on and off. So in my boxing class, because we're holding focus mitts for each other, is that we're taking our gloves on and off, and this is actually gonna do better during the class because you're taking them off, putting focus mitts on, putting your gloves back on. It's also, if you're wearing focus mitts, these are easier, there's less padding, and so it's easier to get your hands in and out of the focus mitts. So 2 different methods. You'll notice here that it is more closed palm. If you want, actually, you can still bunch this up, to be honest with you. But closed palm, again, if I really want to, because of things, actually can cinch it up. It doesn't work as well because I've got more things pulling down, so that bunching part doesn't work as well as the other one. So I actually wouldn't even try that because it just makes things wonky. But so your palm here is closed. You still have this little gap here. That's fine. But you've got kind of these figure 8 loops that are going around your hand, which gives you more stability here on the back of the hand. And so there's less kind of room so that when you punch, you're not gonna kind of tweak your wrist as much. So anyway, Street Tactical Integrations, Portland, Oregon, 2 different ways to use boxing wraps. Please like and subscribe to the channel. So hit that subscribe button right now. It really helps this channel out. It encourages me, one, to put up more videos, but it definitely promotes the channel, which is very helpful. So thank you guys so much. As always, keep training, keep that spirit up, and as always, serve and protect your community, guys. All right, thank you so much.